and welcome to this session on the reactions of alkene, addition reactions on alkene to be precise. If you look at the structure of alkene, then it is having sigma bond and pi bond. Sigma bonds are stronger bonds, pi bonds are weaker because of the lateral overlap of these p orbitals, and more importantly, these pi bonds, they function as Lewis base and they can donate those electrons to the electrophilic species. So, if you are working with a alkene which is electron rich, which is having electron donors attached to this pi bond or attached to this carbon, then they will undergo electrophilic substitution. On the other hand, if electron withdrawing groups are there, they will undergo nucleophilic displacement or nucleophilic addition rather. And third thing is radical reactions. It's like addition of HBr in presence of H2O2 follows radical path where radical initiation, chain propagation, chain termination, all those steps are involved. If you look at the reactivity of alkenes, then according to the substitution pattern, tetra substituted alkenes are more reactive than tri, then di, then mono, and then last comes the ethylene, which is unsubstituted. Now, the first category of addition reaction is electrophilic addition, addition of water, halogen, hydrogen, sulfuric acid, ozone, osmium tetroxide, diborane, halohydrin formation. These are some of the reactions which are listed in the list. Now, let us see one by one. First of all, the mechanism part, then the examples. So, let us start with a simple alkene, that is propylene. This is propylene or 1-propene, and if you add say HBr to this, what will happen? Now, here this molecule has clear cut dipole because of the difference of electronegativity in hydrogen and bromine. So, naturally the first step is the flow of electron starts with the double bond, comes to the this positive end of dipole, and then there are two intermediates theoretically possible. This is secondary carbonium ion, this is primary carbonium ion. Now, depending upon if this carbon takes up proton, then you will end up with secondary carbonium ion. If this takes up the proton, the terminal becomes electron deficient. So, out of these two, naturally the secondary is more stable than primary. So, your second step, now that step is slow step or rate determining step, and the attack of Br minus takes place here. So, this is your first step. So, this is first step, the nucleophile, this is rate determining step. So, in other words, we can say that rate is dependent upon the formation of carbonium ion. More the ease of formation, more will be the rate, and vice versa. In addition to that, the stability of carbonium ion also tells you about the rate. More the stable carbonium ion, rate would be high, and so on. So, this reaction is also known as addition electrophilic bimolecular. Now, this suggests that it is following the second order kinetics. The rate is proportional to the concentration of this reagent as well as the substrate. Okay. Now, this is one of the example. Now starting with the list, we'll go one by one. The addition of hydrogen is there in the list. Addition of hydrogen molecule. Now this is, although addition reaction, the exact dipoles are not there, but this is very important reaction in the sense that this gives a tool for various synthetic sequences. For example, if I start with this alkyne, then addition of this can lead to the formation of alkane directly. So this has no synthetic importance in the sense that there is no selectivity, but the moment I put Lindlar catalyst, then I can stop the reaction here at this stage and I will end up with cis alkene. Now cis alkene means we are having a prochiral center with us. If I add osmium tetroxide or any other reagent to this, I will be getting the optically active compounds. So that is the importance of this kind of selectivity. So this is general reaction, this is specific reaction. The other reactions are also there, but we will see once the appropriate time comes for the examples. Now there are two types of catalysts which are used for hydrogenation. So I will just list some of them. The heterogeneous catalyst like nickel, platinum, palladium, these are heterogeneous catalysts. Rhodium, ruthenium, rhenium, these are rhodium and ruthenium are mostly used, so we will list them. These are homogeneous catalysts. Homogeneous in the sense that their complexes are soluble in organic phases, and thereby you can carry out the reaction in only one phase, that is homogeneous. Heterogeneous means these nickel, platinum and palladium is not soluble in organic solvents. It floats and hydrogen bonds on the top of the catalyst surface, and from there it is shifted to the alkenes. That is how the assumptions are. Second reaction is addition of halogen. The addition of halogen, generally we talk about addition of chlorine and bromine only, because fluorine, the problem is there with glassware, you cannot handle fluorine. Iodination, reversible reaction, so synthetically not very useful. And for this reaction, the alkenes, if you look at the basic qualitative analysis, then if I start with cyclohexene and put chlorine to this, there is a formation of sigma bond at the expense of this pi bond and the sigma bond of chlorine. This becomes electron deficient. Now as you know that unshared electron pair is there, all halogens carry it. All these reactions, halogenation reactions, proceeds through cyclic halonium ion intermediate, and if you consider that this is going to be alpha, let us say Cl plus, then the attack of other Cl minus, which is the nucleophile, in the system, you will end up with trans dichloride. So, this addition always takes place in trans fashion, because if the halonium ion bridge is beta, the attack of nucleophile will occur from the lower side and so on. So, that is the selectivity of the attack of nucleophile depending upon the halonium ion bridge. So, for bromine also the similar pattern is there. Then addition of HX. Now, addition of HX that is HCl, HBr, HI mostly, not HF. Addition of HCl or any compound, if I am starting with unsymmetrical alkene, then you know that one rule prevails. The attack of nucleophile leads to the formation of stable most compound. Now, this is your famous Markovnikov's rule, which states that nucleophile gets bonded to the carbon which is bearing less number of hydrogen, or the carbon which is more substituted, and that's why the Cl goes to the carbon which is tertiary, and of course the formation of tertiary carbonium ion requires less transition state energy barrier to overcome, and you will end up with this 1-chloro-1-methyl cyclohexane as a product of HCl addition. Now, moving on to the next reagent from the same category, that is HBr addition. Now, HBr addition, there are two ways. One is in absence of H2O2 and the second is in presence of peroxide. So, first of all, we will write it with in the absence of H2O2. So, the same methodology is there, reaction pathways are defined. Now, this is the carbonium ion, the secondary will form, and then in the first step this Br minus attacks and you will end up with the now this is unsymmetrical alkene. So, naturally this is your Markovnikov's product, but if the same reaction is carried out in presence of peroxide, you will end up with the primary halide. This is anti-Markovnikov's product. Markovnikov's product. Some people write Markovnikov, some Russian scientist. So, we have to see this mechanism. Now, this mechanism is radical mechanism. The radical formation is initiated by the heat or photolite when peroxide undergoes homolysis. We will just quickly see the mechanism for the addition with the same substrate, of course. This is H2O2 which undergoes homolysis and forms two hydroxyl radicals. Now, this radical interacts with HBr, forms water, and Br dot is released. This radical interacts with alkene, Here also the formation of secondary radical is important, that is the main intermediate, and then not here H, this should be Br, then CH2Br, and then you get. Now this first step is formation of hydroxyl radical. Second step, when that OH dot interacts with HBr, forms water and Br radical is set free. This Br radical interacts and forms this secondary radical. This in turn takes up hydrogen radical from HBr. So this is chain initiation step, this is chain propagation step, and the Br dot to Br dot combines and from bromine, that is chain termination step. So three steps are there: chain initiation, chain propagation, and chain termination. So this is the peculiar characteristic of the radical reaction. Moving on to the next reagent, that is addition of H2SO4. Now addition of H2SO4, generally these reactions to be carried out for the formation of some alcohols or something like this. So let us start with this alkene, that is 1-butene, and HSO4, as you are aware, H2SO4 has got a proton which is necessarily acidic, and then you will have the secondary carbonium ion. The further rearrangement is not possible because in that case also you will be getting the same, and then this reacts with, or I will put the same reagent here, the same manner, this interacts and you get the adduct. Now this adduct can be hydrolyzed and you get the alcohol at the end of reaction.